Hey guys, it is Wednesday here in West Virginia, and what better day than today to do Wagon Wednesday? I created some more really cool, in my opinion, they're really cool, wagon lowriders. And as you can see in the background, some may consider this like sacrilegious. Even myself, it's kind of borderline unethical to part out Revell lowriders and use them as donors. It really killed me to do this one here, but I have another one coming, and I'm keeping this body nice just in case the other one isn't that great. Then I'll just put the chassis underneath it. But anyways, what I've been creating with the Riviera is their long wheelbase. I've done two Vista Cruisers so far. You guys have seen this one before, but you haven't seen it since I got it down on the ground a little bit lower and I put RPX1 design wheels on the car. The RPX1s, if you don't know, they are a little bit pricey, but they're well worth it. The quality is superior to all others, in my opinion. That's why they're a little bit more than most, but they are very nice quality. This one here, we had done in the past. The only thing I did to it is I took it apart and I painted the interior brown to get it to look a little more, I know, in coordination with the car, because it had the white with the teal aqua blue insert seats in it. Same interior from the Riv, but I did paint it brown. And we did put the RPX1 design gold Daytons on it. And this thing, you can see how low it sets. I mean, it sets on the ground, literally almost. But it rolls like a dream, as you can see. I mean, it's like flawless. This is almost like a factory lowrider from Revell. But it's green lights, Vista Cruiser, wagon body on a Revell 71 Riviera lowrider that has been modified. I just had to kind of slim it down a little bit on the width part and then take just a hair off of the rear part to get it to go into this body. And the wheelbase is pretty much spot on. The wheels sit a little far forward in the front on this side, but on this side it looks perfect. So it's just the way that the axles line up because of the adjustable suspension. But yeah, it does, well, it will still come apart. As you can see here, the only thing that's glued, the chassis is still glued to the interior. The reason I still use the Riviera interior is because on the Riviera, they have a different setup than, say, on the Monte Carlo or the Impalas. The interior bucket actually holds down the rear adjustable suspension mechanism. So you need to use their interior, at least cut the bottom part of the back seat out and glue it down to get it to lock in the rear mechanism for the rear axle. I just went ahead and used the whole interior because it fit okay back in here. The Eldorado that I did, I had to cut part of the back of the interior out, the part that kind of goes into a triangle part into the boat tail of the Riviera. But outside of that, that was the only mod I did on the Eldorado. But then the Eldorado's not here. We'll do that a different time. But the wagons, I just take the whole interior thing. As you can see, there's the area that tapers down, and it actually helps hinge the trunk. That's what that little piece is right there. I could have cut some of that off to kind of make it a little bit cleaner, but I don't know. You don't really see it that much. And then I did this guy here. This is the Black Bandit wagon from Greenlight. And I got a set of black spokes from RPX1 Design and put on this bad boy. Same thing, it's got the 71 Riv interior, except this time I used the Vista Cruiser dash. In this one, I used, actually, you know what? I think I did update this one. Yes, I did put the Vista Cruiser dash back in. I was using the Riviera dashboards But I actually updated this to where I just used a Vista Cruiser dash in each one of these. So it worked out pretty good. Um, and this one here, I don't know why, because the axles, as you can see, they roll like really good. Um, and you can hear them rolling, but it doesn't go like that far unless you give it a little bit of momentum. I guess it's sitting a little bit lower than the gold one and such, but yeah, the car does look fantastic. As I said, just be patient if you want to do one of these creations. Now, as you can see, now that it's up in the air, yeah, it moves along pretty good. If you want to make one of these creations, just be patient with your Dremel work while grinding the sides to make it a little bit narrower. And then back here by the gas tank, as you can see, basically what I did, there's an overhang of floorboard past the frame on each side. So basically what I do is I take it down to the frame rail on each side, and then I make the front area here same width as the center, and the same thing with the back, and then take a little bit off of the back part of the frame and gas tank area. Another thing too, you have to cut. Let's see, this one came out. No, this one wasn't the one that came out so easy. This one did. So I'll show you guys. So you do have to take a little bit off the tubs too. As you can see where I've grinded down on the outer part of the tubs to make it just a tad bit narrower. Yeah, I know that interior looks horrible, don't it? But it doesn't look so bad once it's on the chassis back in the car and stuff. So anyways, yeah, and then you have a little bit of like play where you put it on and it can like slide back and forth. That's like I was saying, like the front tires, you can work it a little bit and get it to line up a little bit better. But I don't know why this one, it is set down on the ground like that and it still rolls really good. The black one, however, when it's dropped down on the back, something back here rubs. I think it's the bumper, because I ended up breaking the bumper and I think I didn't get it glued perfectly straight, and it maybe hangs a little bit, as you can see there. I got another parts car, Vista Cruiser. I may end up taking the chrome bumpers off of it and putting on the black Bandit, because it just has the silver painted bumpers. Now the next monstrosity that I built here is the Pontiac LeMans Safari wagon. And this thing is awesome. It's actually my favorite of the group. It's sitting on a 70 Monte Carlo frame from Revell. So yeah, as I mentioned, it's on the 70 Monte frame from Revell. It didn't take much work on this one, just a little bit on the tubs. I had to like taper inward on the top, like I showed you on the Vista Cruiser, to get it to clear. But yeah, this one, in my opinion, is a little bit cleaner when it comes to the chassis going on. Most of it is pretty much direct fit, except for the grinding on the tubs. And then in the interior of this car, as you can see, I had to cut out the floor in the back here to get the frame of the Revell to clear. But yeah, everything is functional. And this one, I did leave the Revell wheels on it, only because that it's a little bit tougher to pull out on the suspension, and I didn't want to stress the RPX1 wheels and break them. So I just left the Revells on this. I did take a picture. Actually, I think I'm going to use it for the thumbnail picture of the video, when the car had the chrome RPX1s on it, and then that one has the gold ones, and then the other one has the black ones and stuff. And as I said, this one here, I don't know why it wants to, I don't know why the body even came off of this. I thought it was on there pretty good to start with. But yeah, sometimes these front wheels, they just look like they're pushed forward too much. But I don't know, even the Riviera itself, whenever you have the Riv, the back tires, it looks like the back tires are back too far, even for the stock Riv from Revell. But yeah, that's pretty much as good as it gets. Well, actually, the front tires do center up in the wheel well a little bit better in some cases, but the way that they set so low on the ground. I'm totally happy with the positioning of the front wheels and stuff because, well, it does set really good. It can probably go back a little more. Yeah, that side looks better. I don't know. It's just the way that the Revell chassis are made, too. Yeah, that looks good. The driver's side looks better than the passenger side on both. As you can see, and even on that one, when it drops down, it looks like the back tire is back too far, but it's not. And then this, but it does look like the front tire is forward a little bit on that side, but this side looks good. And it's the same on this one with the gold wheels. They're lined up pretty much centered on this side though. However, the front tire looks like it's forward too much. But anyways, they roll straight and they look really good. And that's the same thing with this LeMans wagon. I may end up doing one more wagon, the hitch and tow one, that is all gold. I'm trying to avoid the brown sides. That was my original one. I had an extra gold one. That's why I did it. I didn't even know it was going to work, and it worked great. So I was like, man, I got to do another one. So I built the black one, and then I started measuring wheelbases on other wagons, and I was like, wow, I can do it to the Safari with the Monte Carlo. So next, what I'm going to attempt is a Caprice, the 80s Caprice from Greenlight. I'm going to try to get one of those on an adjustable chassis. And I'm also going to look into doing one of the 70s Thunderbirds from Greenlight. And maybe one of the GOC 90s Cadillacs. See if I can get those mounted on a frame. But the only cars I can work with are the 71 Riviera, the 61 Impala, and the 70 Monte Carlo. Preferably the 71 Riv, because those are the cheapest ones. You can get these for between 20 and 25 bucks a piece on eBay without a problem. The Monte Carlos, however, they get a little pricey unless you buy them in a lot. I bought a lot of Lowriders, and I got one of these in the lot, and it worked out to where I got each car for like 20 bucks. So I have another one of those coming. This is the cheapest one you can find. Usually it's like 25 to 30. And the frame is made a little bit differently on this one than other Montes. It doesn't really have big wheel wells. So that would actually work out better for this car because I needed to cut a little bit down on the wheel wells. So there's a lot of possibilities out there. The only thing I can say is look for castings that does not have an engine bay. That has the sealed hood, just like the Revells, and you shouldn't have a problem. As long as the wheelbase is the same and the track can be a little bit off, but not a lot. I mean, you do want to try to keep it close. That way you don't have to grind so much. Or sometimes if it's too small, it'll walk side to side, even if you glue it to the interior bucket. So there's a lot of stuff to take into consideration if you're making them. But they're fun to build, and as you can see, the outcome is good. This one's losing its front bumper. So, yeah. So have fun, guys. Hope this helps you understand how to build them using the Revell chassis, because these are a lot more durable than like 3D printed chassis. Some of the 3D printed chassis are great, and I use a lot of them for some of my customs, but I'm trying to use some of the Revell stuff because it's, as I said, a little bit more durable in some ways. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you again on Friday for our Free It Friday.